What's going on, guys? Another cold day here in Michigan, and I want to talk to you about fighting the enemy. Now, you might be surprised by what I mean by that, or maybe not. The enemy, to me, is anything that brings you down from the purpose that you in your soul, your heart, that you're supposed to be pursuing. There are various forms of this enemy, this dark side, this dark energy, whatever you want to call it. But there's a resistance. There is an active force that is against you as a person, as a man, as a woman, as a human being, that you have to be aware of. That I think a lot of young people today, and maybe even old, maybe it's you're in your 40s and you've never thought about this, but there's an active force that is against you and that wants to actively destroy you, that wants to bring you down, that wants to take you down and drag you, take you into hell, underground. It wants you to have all these negative emotions, this negative energy, negative frequency, if you will, right? All of these things that you are ashamed of, the things you've done that you're like, oh, you wish I would have, I'm such a piece of crap, right? We all have those feelings from time to time. It's just human nature, right? But is it human nature, or is it nature that is built and put into us through this dark energy? So what am I talking about? Well, I'll give you specific examples. Suppose you have a habit or something that you are not proud of. Suppose it's alcohol, suppose it's pornography, suppose it's something that you're not very proud of. Maybe you tell a lie every now and then. This habit of yours, this thing that you do, is not actually you. This is an idea that took me a long time to understand, and also was educated on, that there's a part of us as a human being, this part of you is a part of me that is pure. That's the part that actually is you, and I'll prove that to you. When you were a child, you didn't have these habits. You weren't born with any of this. These habits were put into you through the world, through ignorance, through lack of attention, through lack of care. And you could make any reason for how these habits were put into you, and they may be valid, some of them may not be. But I will tell you, there's actually a metaphysical reason for why these habits, and that's really because there is an enemy that is beyond sight and hearing, that is against you the moment you were born. That enemy has been watching you. When you call that the Satan, Lucifer, dark energy, Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? It doesn't matter. But there is an active force out for you, and the moment you were born, you got involved in this fight between good and evil that has been going on since the formation of this universe. Now, you don't have to be a religious person to understand what I'm saying, because let me tell you this. If you look at the world today, you see there's messed up things happening everywhere. There's just bad things happening. I don't care what side you're on. You can't be blind to that, right? There's bad things happening to people. There's bad things happening to the world, the universe, the environment, the animals. There's just shitty things that people are doing. And there are, in fact, people that are possessed by this dark spirit, right? They are actively doing it, and because they're also ignorant of it, or maybe they're being accomplice to it. Who the hell knows? But you know this because you look around and you're like, man, why is this all this messed up stuff happening? You don't have to be a genius to know that there's an evil force out there. So if there's an evil force out there, there must be a good force to counterbalance that. There has to always be a counterweight. That's just how physics works. That's how the world's physics works. That's also how metaphysical works. Because metaphysical physics is when you have anything that happens has an equal or opposite reaction, right? So it's same thing. If you push something, it pushes back. In physics, the same thing happens in karma, as the Hindus would say. In karma, they say if you do something good, it always comes back. The Bible says what goes around comes around. The same things are happening. When you do good, good things happen to you. When you do bad, bad things happen to you. And this energy wants you to keep doing that. And the whole lesson for this video is this. If you understand that you're in the war between good and evil, then you got to do two things. One is you gotta first become aware, obviously. And the second, you gotta pick sides. And don't be blind, and don't be a victim. Be like, oh, my life is hard because I have all these bad things. I've got these habits, and I got these temptations, and I've got all this social media crap is being thrown at you, right? You realize that this isn't an accident, man. You gotta wake the hell up and be like, dude, holy shit, I'm being attacked. So what do? You sit there and whine? No, you wake up and you fight back. You say, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this. You could be 40 and you wake up today and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done being fat. I'm done watching garbage. I'm done smoking. I'm done drinking. Whatever is your vice, you don't have to sit there and say that's you. It's not you. That's a habit that the enemy wants you to think that it's you. It's not you. It's not freaking you. I'm telling you. It's not you. You're that child, that 9-year-old child, that 5-year-old child that had the biggest dreams in the world, that had big glossy eyes ready to take on the universe. That's you. That's you. The pure, beautiful human being. That's you. You don't have bad habits. You don't have bad habits. That's just an enemy convincing you. And then you got to fight back, and you got to take back what's yours, which is your life. It's your life. It's not the enemy's life. Number one, realize that this has been going on since the formation of the universe, and every human being who's ever lived and will ever live will be involved in this warfare between good and evil. And again, this is irrespective of religion, political affiliations, whatever, race, I don't care. It's just there's good and there's bad. There's people that, forces that want to do harm and bring you into hell, and then there's forces that want to build heaven by doing good and graciousness and generosity and all of that, right? That makes you feel good, high energy. And then the second is you got to pick a side. Now, if you don't pick a side by default, you're going to be on the side of the enemy by default. And the enemy, because why? Because it's easier and he's trickier. See, God is not tricky. God doesn't trick you. God will show you the path and is full of light. The enemy will trick you because his path is dark and it's ugly. He can't sell it without tricking you. It's like a snake oil salesperson. If he told you the truth, you would never want to follow his path. He wants to trick you and tempt you and showing you shiny stuff so that you can go into it. It gives you dopamine hits. Dopamine is the reason why most people are in hell today, because they're chasing dopamine instead of restraint. You got to pick a side. You got to know that you're in the middle of a battle, and then you got to take back your life, and you got to grow whatever it is that you need to grow. You got to create whatever it is that God put you on this earth to create. We were made in God's image, and God is a creator. He's the creator, and we're just a creator. But you have to create. You have to stop consuming, and you have to start creating. I hope this video is helpful, guys. Something to think about that hopefully will change your life. If you understand that you're not a victim and these habits are not you. I hope it helps, guys. See you in the next one.